Welcome to another Tuesday night. No, I don't have any hair anymore. I woke up and it was gone. But welcome to another Tuesday night, late Tuesday night coverage of the Chicago Cubs. This is Cubfidential. I am the producer, Mr. Cubfidentiality. Tonight we've got a pretty good show going on. We're going to talk about the World Series Game 7 in 2016. We've also got our This Cubs for You, Ian Happ. We're going to talk about the Cubs New York Yankees series. We got a round table tonight, so let's go ahead and bring in the host, Mr. Jordan Long. Get on in here.
Hey, Jay. How's it going? Well, like Jay said, we're the Cubfidential, the best late-night Cubs coverage. We have a great show lined up for you. Let's bring our guests, Jacob and Steve, onto the show.
Well, hey, by the way, we're at nine runs to go for the 108. Where do you need to go for 20?
It's been that kind of night. I know Steve texted us in the group. We were up, 4-0? Or 5-0. We were all feeling good.
5-0 in the sixth. Hendrick was pitching well.
Brilliant.
Gave
Beautiful.
up, yeah, great. Did give up a double, but you no outs in the sixth, runner on second. Starter at 78 pitches. You're up 5-0, and we give him the hook.
He's basically at this point. Ross is basically managing second graders.
I would agree with that.
Here you go. Here's the ice cream cone. Let's go.
Of course, we've talked about it on the show and actually in our chats that we're not big fans of David Ross. If you guys can't tell, we're waiting for him to leave.
Well, I love David Ross. I
love him as a person.
I just managing this Cubs team. I just want to make that clear. I have no problem with David Ross as a person. I will always love him. Any member of the 2016 team, like you, good. I just don't want him to manage this team.
No,
I completely agree.
Put him in the minors. Put him in college. Get him started with kids. Get him started on that because the guy knows his game and stuff like that. But you got to start somewhere. Don't do it in a big leagues.
Truthfully, I feel that the only reason why they should let him go soon, to Jacob's point, is I think he would be great in college. So I think, like you say, well, what good is it going to do for the Cubs this season? You have an interim manager or whatever. But I think you're helping him if you let him go, because then he can get to his next job. And I think he could. I mean, maybe it's a minor league job, but I personally feel he would be outstanding in college.
No. Think of it this way. You're right. He would be outstanding in college, but think of it this way. All the White Sox fans, the moron fans blasting about La Russa because they're struggling a little bit. And I'm like, let's just trade for about a week. Let's see how you like it if he gets rid of people at 40 pitches, gets rid of the pitcher at 40 pitches like he's done like 4 times this year.
Yeah, let's compare career wins from La Russa to Ross.
I know, right?
No, but I'm just saying. Let's see how much they beg for him back when he gives up 40 pitches, like in the 3rd inning.
So, of course, it hasn't really gone our way. We'll start with the New York series.
Oh, good!
I know. We're really excited about that.
Sweet,
super, Jordan. That's so nice of you.
Oh, we love you.
I figured I'd start with a great topic.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The one game that I thought we had a chance to win was on Friday night. 1-1 game, we lose in 10 innings, or 11 innings, I should say. We had our chances in that game. We really did. Top of the 7th inning, Morel at second with 2 outs. Contreras lined out. 10th inning, of course, we've talked about how we don't really like that ghost runner because it confuses the heck out of me. I always think, there's a double. Oh, wait. No, it's a ghost runner. Well, Contreras grounded out, and Happ they intentionally walked, and Schwanda grounded into a double play. Top of the 11th, Wisdom popped out, Ortega lined out with a double play, and VR was doubled off on second. What went wrong in that game is the fact that we didn't have timely hits. We had chances in that game.
Listen, so really quick, because we don't want to be here that tonight because we're all in mourning that we were up 5-0 and now we're down 11-5. But
I just want to laugh.
The great thing about this, series against the Yankees, because I won't talk about the other stuff too. So I'll just talk about this series. The great thing about this series is we pretty much lost in every way you could lose. Like 2-1 and 13. Like,
hey, Will,
you did what you had to do. You had 9 hits, but you left 13 on base, and this is great. I mean, you need something stronger than a beer for this, but 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 18.
hey,
0 for 18 with runners in scoring position. Wilson Contreras by himself was 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
Hey, one thing for you. 0 for 45 in the series. 0 for 45. 0 for 46 with this game before the finale.
Because they were 0 for 7 the next game.
Yes.
They were 1 for so they were 1 for because they were 1 for 11 in the next game, but they lost 18-4. So who really cares? But yeah.
Woo-hoo. And then Saturday we got shut out 8-0. I mean,
so 18-4 and now 11-5. So our offense is working.
Yeah. Well, then we got shut out 8-0 on Saturday. I mean,
28-5. 28-5 is good in a 3-game series, right?
Oh, absolutely.
5. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
We like you too. Well, we tried to have you on to talk about the Yankee series, but you just decided to be a chatter, which we have adopted you as our,
Real quick to Will's point that he just put in the comments, I think baseball is definitely the one sport that you can get away with it because of, interleague play and blah, blah. You can have an AL team and an NL team. And I think that's completely acceptable. And I'm not just saying that because I am a Tigers fan of the AL and a Cubs fan of the NL, but I think it's completely acceptable. You can do that. Like in the NFL, you have to pick one team.
Will's gonna bang on the doors. Let me on. Let me on.
Yeah, baseball, you can have an AL and an NL team. I think that's completely acceptable.
Will's pretty much part of the show anyway. Let's be honest here.
But yeah, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position on Saturday. 8 left on base. I mean, the Yankees. We didn't say it yet, but we lost 8-0. The Yankees hit 6 home runs,
which is exactly where I'm going to now. With Schwarmer giving up 6 home runs, it basically was home run derby against him.
5 innings pitched, 7 hits. 6 of those hits were home runs.
Hey, 7 hits is a good game.
Yeah, if you're not hitting home runs, it is.
Hey, listen, if we said 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, no walks, 4 Ks,
it would be a great game. I would think it would be in the game.
If we had that 6 of those 7 hits were home runs and you gave up 6 home runs and 6 earned,
Hey, Ross offered him an ice cream cone for the 7 hits. You know it's like, now remember, you actually got some good outs there, young man.
Yeah. The only thing that I will say about that game it was coming off the 13-inning game on Friday where 9 pitchers were used.
7 tonight.
So Friday night the pitchers weren't the problem. The staff Friday night was good enough, and everybody basically everybody pitched 1 or 2 innings. They were fine. That wasn't the issue. Obviously, the 13 left on base and the 0 for 18 runners in scoring position was the problem Friday night. Saturday night, we just decided, put it on a tee and see how many home runs Aaron Judge could hit in the 134-yard field in Yankee Stadium. Like my 5th grade son plays in bigger stadiums in his freaking little league games than Yankee Stadium. So, yeah.
No, just imagine playing in Cincinnati for the Little League title.
Yeah. And then you look at Sunday, 18-4. My favorite part about that game, Schwanda got to pitch, and what was it, 35 miles per hour that he just basically looked at it with a home run.
Miles an
hour. There you go.
And
home run derby.
Actually, the funny thing is about Schwanda is he actually did the best of the relievers, truthfully.
Yeah.
Like, look at it. Like, Newcomb was terrible. Norris was terrible. Like, Mills was not good. And, like, he only gave up 1 home run and 2 hits. Like, that's good compared to the rest of them that day, truthfully. Like,
8 runs to go, guys. 8 runs to go. It's 12-5.
My favorite thing about that game, actually, was the Ian Happ home run in the first. because I was feeling really good. And then the bottom of the first happened.
Again, we were all excited because you said, hey, well, obviously I'm in Colorado. I can't really get some of these games. I rely on you because luckily you have the technology to watch it. When we were at 1-0, I'm like, great start. And then it just all went down. I'm like, oh, great.
Schwanda, Schwanda, is your smile, is your nice smile completely alcohol oriented all the time? Because the way you say you're always feeling good, is it just alcohol?
Either that or it's the Golden State Warriors winning. Hey, Will.
We were late in the building.
What's up, Will?
None.
So you want to talk about the Yankees side of this series? Because of course we're all three depressed because you guys.
Oh yeah, we sound depressed. Oh yeah, we're so.
Yeah, because that day, Ian Happ went 3 for 3, had a single, triple, and a home run.
You know what? I
knew.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought the Cubs were gonna steal at least one and just pull a shocker.
We had a chance.
What? Yeah, I give you guys credit, so much credit, for bringing us into 13 innings.
Okay, that was one game, but then if you look at the other games, we got absolutely annihilated.
No. He's being David Ross.
Yeah,
he's being David Ross here. It's just like,
I
good boy.
I may need to stay for the whole show. I just want to tune in for the whole thing.
That's cool with me.
On this pig, putting lipstick on this pig, Will.
No, I get like you guys have said in previous shows. I agree. The Cubs are young. They're gonna get better eventually. They just
when
are
Ross
young
is gone.
And still trying to find their identity.
Their identity is Ross.
Pretty much. That's exactly what I was going to say. Well, let's move on to this Cubs for you, Ian Happ. I mean, his stats didn't really, come off that well this week, but who could you have put as this Cubs for you?
Jordan, when you lose 7 straight and you score 9 runs in a week, like the leader for the last week, the leading Cub RBI, they had 2. That was the leader in a week, was 2. So I didn't have a lot to go on this week. I'm not going to lie to you. And yes, I love Ian Happ. He's my favorite Cub. But he also hit over 300 with a 409 OPS and a 599 slugging. Did walk 3 times, struck out 4 times, had a stolen base, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 triple, 1 home run. But here's the Cubs' problem in a nutshell, right? So he had 6 hits, scored 2 runs, had a triple and a home run, walked 3 times, stole a base, had 1 RBI. So his only RBI the entire week was his solo shot. And that is the problem. That's what we talk about, the runners in scoring position failures, the guys left on base failures. Sometimes a nice little, grounder through the shortstop and third base hole is the right play. And a whole bunch of long fly ball outs are not the right play. So if you hit a home,
you're done.
And a triple and have 1 RBI for an entire week. Whew.
Well, here's the thing about Ian Happ. There's the thing about him. It's like this. I give the Cubs organization credit for this because the Bears organization listens to the fans way too dang much. I've said this. They didn't listen when the Cubs fans were giving up on Ian Happ all last year. He was struggling. And they didn't give up on him. And they didn't listen to moron fans, which a moron fan should never be listened to for anything in life. Mm-hmm. They live off of rage and beer. No offense, Schwanda. But they live off rage and beer.
Yep.
And they don't know anything. And they've never been in the front office. They've never done a draft. They've never anything. But yet, like for instance, with the Bears fans, the Bears front office listens to the fans too much. The Cubs fans, not the Cubs organization, not really. Which I'm happy with because Ian Happ is having a great season.
He is.
He's having a good season. Go for that.
Especially in baseball. Like, I mean, I do more basketball as far as like scouting and that wise, where you basically just have high school, AAU, college, pro. Baseball, obviously, you have scouts that watch high school. You have scouts that watch high school games. You have scouts that watch college games. Then you have obviously scouts that are watching single A, double A, triple A. So obviously, every team should trust your scouts more than
Yes.
Johnny Fan in the 15th row, shirtless, drinking beer, screaming like
and in front of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. So obviously you should, trust the people who see what they see in these people to be like, good. Because again, if you can bat over 300 for a season, there's not a team in baseball that won't take you. So, sometimes you got to write the course a little bit. But Ian Happ, when he was leadoff there a couple of years ago, he led off the year. What was that? 4 years ago already.
I feel like I should let you guys go back to your
a home run in the first game.
I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.
All right, thanks for coming on. Well,
where you let off the season.
We're not paying your pension.
Yeah, but everybody's like, because we've talked about this before. We haven't had a true leadoff hitter, since Dexter left.
No.
No.
I would love Ian Happ to be that guy and bat 300. And
I kind of would like to see Ian Happ down the line in the power hitter.
To be that guy. He's not that guy.
The power positions. My question is,
I'm sorry, I'm old school forever. I'm old school forever. It's like I want Morel in that. I love his power. I want him in that fourth. I don't care what he's doing now. I know he's at 23 straight games. I don't care. See, my thought process is how's he going to do when he finally doesn't get on base? And that time will come in the next couple games. But it's like I just want to see how
he broke his streak in the last game, not Saturday's game.
Well, the thing is though, it's like I want to see where he goes with this from there. It's like he's dropped like 20 points since, so I want to see where it goes. And I'm like, I just want to see that power right in the 4. And I want to see Suzuki back. I want to see
Morel 4. You want Morel 4?
I want Morel about 4. Yeah,
okay.
I want that power. But I want Suzuki at 1.
I don't like his 9 strike. I don't like his 9 strikeouts in 5 games.
Anywhere. Okay, put him at 4. That's
like 4 is good. Yeah, 4 is good.
4 is good. Good Lord.
Don't have him 1.
We have Wisdom there anyway. I'm like, he's like 9 strikeouts in a game sometimes.
That's good. Well, my question is with Ian Happ, since he's been our player of the week, or should I say this Cubs for you, should he get an extension? And because he said he wants to stay for the Cubs for life.
Well, something. I'm going to use the other Pundits Pundit part of this. Remember where you think a little differently than the other sports fan. How many kids does he have? His wife, obviously, like that. It's like you've got a lot of people think about their multi-millions of dollars, and he's going to get that himself. But you got kids in school, or you got little kids, you got a wife, you got a house, you've got all this, you got taxes to pay. Okay, you're paying high taxes in Illinois, so maybe you go to Texas, you want it lower. You maybe go to Florida, things like that. Say hypothetical. But what if you like Illinois? One of the rare ones that do. What if you do? What if you like that? What if you're happy where you're at? What if you love your neighbors? What if you love all that stuff? And it's like maybe Ian Happ's thinking like that, and all that kind of stuff. Maybe he's thinking of the next door app. Maybe he's thinking, okay, he's got his buddies, all that kind of stuff like that. Maybe he's not just thinking of the locker room and all that stuff and the $300 million or whatever, which he wouldn't get. But maybe he's thinking of that generational wealth that he can collect and get himself a business later, or maybe a coach.
I haven't thought about that side, and it does make sense. I can't remember the last Cub that actually stayed for 10 plus years.
Yeah. Sandberg was one.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going back a ways, but yeah.
And it wasn't original, but like and they both didn't end, but like it was their core. I think the core part of their careers. Because they both did end with Cubs or start with the Cubs, but like you're talking like Derek Lee and Aramis Ramirez, guys that stayed at least for more than 2-3 years. Yes. But it is that era, if you will, has changed, obviously. But if you're Ian Happ, to me, and to Jacob's point, like, yeah, if you can get the team to give you a 5-6 year extension for, even if you're making 15 a year, 10 a year, hell, 10 a year, like you're still, like
you're smoking it.
You're still locked in, right, for life.
Mm-hmm.
And because of, look at Bobby Bonilla. He still makes $1 million every July 1st. So
till 2035.
There you go, Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day. It's a special
This is where you feel older and see the gray hairs is when Bobby Bonilla Day is starting to come to an end in the next 15
I know, right?
years.
We basically celebrate. It's all about Bobby Bonilla Day when it comes around. It's just like, yeah, that is a great deal for him.
In 2034, Bobby Bonilla is going to go into the office, try an extension.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure.
That's just now. No, Bobby Bonilla Day is it's such a great day. And it's such a great reminder of somebody being smart about it.
Or his agent.
Yeah, well, or like, hey, dude, seriously, you want to do this? But that's the thing. If you can have that guaranteed contract, obviously that's what you're trying to do, right? Because things can happen you can't control. But if you're gonna say, hey, I look at it because I live in Michigan, so I like the Tigers and the AL. Like, Miguel Cabrera is stealing money at this point, right? Because you're getting paid for things that you've already done, not what you're about to do. Albert Pujols comes to mind, right? When you see those big 10-year contracts when the guy's 28, you're like, oh yeah, maybe for a year or two, they're going to do really well. But man, year 7, 8, 9, and 10 of that contract's going to be brutal.
I'm getting scared, and I'm getting scared of Ohtani with the way the media goes with him. The guy hits like 247, and they're going to get him $300 million because, I can pitch once in a while. Hey, look, a couple homers a week. No, and it's like, see, and those are the things about that. He hits 247, and then you don't know if they get hurt. And it's like, it's like we're living off of the speculation. It's like the stock market.
Yeah.
And
that's what it is, yeah.
Business-wise, and this obviously because of collective bargaining and agents, obviously, this will never happen. So don't think that I'm saying it's going to. But what should happen, truthfully, if you want to be, and technically it's fair, that there is a set salary for every professional athlete. And then everything else is incentive-based. So this year, if you hit 30 home runs, you don't make or you don't make $235,000. But then you also don't sign a $300 million contract, for 10 years, and by year 3, you're hitting $187 with 2 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Oh, Chris Davis.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, by the way, the Andre Dawson clause, we can call it. He signed basically with a blank check, got $500,000, got the MVP. There's your incentives.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to a happier topic. Not that Ian Happ isn't happy, but let's go to the 2016 World Series Game 7. If I look back at this series, we were down 3-1.
Sure.
We win Game 5 at home, a close game. Game 6, we win that game. And the only thing I have a question for about Game 6 was, should Aroldis Chapman, should he have been in that 9th inning? He ends up twisting his leg trying to take a guy out. In my mind, you're doing everything you can to win, so I'm not going to put that on Madden.
No, the thing about the Game 7 by itself, I remember I was at this bar called Bobby G's. And this was my ultimate, I like to say this was my ultimate pundit night before it even existed. The ultimate night. I was predicting everything right. I literally said the first thing, it's like Dexter Fowler home run, bam. I was literally like, I'm not kidding you, 5-3 when I was saying, now look, here comes, and I'm not kidding you when I'm saying this, here comes John Lester, David Ross is his guy. See, Lester was in the bullpen. David Ross is his guy. He's going to come up. You're going to want him up. Hits a home run, which would get that, because otherwise we know what happens with Raji Davis. And then like when let's see, Zobrist came up. I was like, now this is the guy that can hit good opposite corner. It's opposite field. And I'm like, this was just we have a bunch of buddies next to us. And I'm just like, I'm on a roll that night. I'm like, I literally should have had money up on everything. I should have had the parlays up that night because I was on a roll. But see, here was the funny part. I was the only one not getting nervous, even though they blew that lead, Even though they blew the lead, I wasn't getting nervous because I'm like, how many times in my life does a Cubs fan ever get a World Series?
That's true.
I was like, how many times do they get the World Series? And I'm like, and it's like, it's one of those deals. It's like, and then guess what? Go to the 10th after the rain delay. And you get in, and then they get hot. And it's like, it was meant, and stuff like that. It's like everybody else was like about throwing glasses in the ground. It's like, it sounded like double doink with the Bears in the playoff game. They were getting so mad they thought they were going to lose it. And I'm just like, hold on, let's start to see. And then they had it. And then you could tell it was meant to be when let's see, Chris Bryant slips with his foot throwing that ball and ends up, we have a 6'6" guy over there instead of like a 6'2" guy, which would have been over his head. Let's see, 45 to 84, 39 years.
There you go. The thing that I remember about that whole game is I was feeling great, up 5-1. I just felt like it was our time. And then you saw John Lester throws the wild pitch to David Ross, gives up 2 runs, 5-3. And then, of course, he makes up with it to make it 6-3. At that point, I'm feeling still great. The one thing that still bothers me, and don't get me wrong, Aroldis Chapman, we all have to remember, was actually an okay closer, but he had pitched the night before. It's the Rajah Davis home run. It still bugs me that he gave it up. I can't even watch the replay because I remember my emotions. That's the problem with some of the plays in any sport is I can see that play and remember exactly how I was feeling. I was so nervous, but we have to remember that Aroldis Chapman, in actually the bottom of the ninth, we went quietly in the top of the ninth. Yep. He got those 3 outs to go to the 10th inning. No. That's what everyone forgets.
What got me mad was watching LeBron James go on the celebration after like about a month earlier had a Yankees hat on.
And then he has a Cleveland hat.
I mean, it's like Drake. It's like Drake cheering in basketball. He's got like 72 teams.
And then, as you were talking about with the Rizzo, if Rizzo's a little shorter, that ball goes into center field. Yeah. Or they scored. Yeah. They might have won that game. Yeah. But I mean, it was a great moment. I mean, we've all been waiting for that moment for my entire life. I know my great aunt who passed away way before the Cubs won the World Series. She wrote me a letter saying, "This city is going to go bonkers when we win." I was like, I hope that time comes. And of course, she was right. I mean, it was just an amazing moment to finally say the Billy Goat curse is finally lifted off our backs. I don't know if I really believed in the curse of the Billy Goat. It's just one of those things that things just happen for a reason. I mean, you look at 2003, we were this close to going to the World Series. What happened, Steve Bartman? Did I blame the curse of the Billy Goat then? No, not at all. It was the fact that we screwed up Game 6 and then lost Game 7. But I mean, it was just.
I'm calling it Alex Gonzalez more than I am Steve Bartman. I am tired of Bartman taking a beating on that crap. Every fan would have done the same thing. But
exactly.
Yep. I'm sorry. Let me say this one thing against you, Schwanda. I'm sorry. Do you notice every time any team ever has a curse of some type, say the Cubs, something has to happen that finally they get like the slip of the foot and he catches it this high. The Blues in hockey had to go to Boston and win it. When they had the chance in St. Louis to do it and they didn't. And it's like every single time a team has to break a slump. And the Guardians will have to do the same thing. Not the Indians anymore. The Guardians will have to do the same thing one day. They're 78 years in, 80 years in or something. They're going to have to do the same thing somewhere. When you are in that big of a slump, something always happens. Then the second, guess what? Then when you finally win, then the second one is always easier. Because remember, Boston had to come back from 3-0 down to win theirs against the Yankees. Thank you, Will. They had to come back against the Yankees 3-0, and then their second one was absolutely easier. It just happens like that. When you have it is slumps and streaks and all that stuff happens. And it's like in the second time is always a little bit easier. It's a lot of it's nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, Schwanda. I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, it obviously it was a special series. It was a special couple of games. It was an absolute roller coaster of emotions for obviously many of us. Which then, of course, it's funny now looking back at it. Obviously, is yeah, we were happy at the time, but it's amazing how quickly we changed to I just want them to win one in my lifetime to oh my God, they're all young. They're going to win 3 of the next 4. And obviously that didn't happen. But I think that's a really good lesson for everybody is, and again, obviously it's sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's entertainment. The Cubs don't pay our bills. You know, any team that you root for don't pay your bills. Like, and get involved in the game, have a good time, you know, dissect it, enjoy it, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the next day, the sun
pay your bills.
And just so you have to have proper perspective. And that's this thing is like, and baseball's tough, I think. I think baseball is the toughest to have that perspective because even the worst teams, you're still going to win, like, you know, 60 games. Or like, even if you're like historically bad, you're still going to win 55, 60 games during the year, right? So you're still going to have those moments that make you feel good from, you know, April to August.
Well, it's like golf.
So
It's like that one. We could have had that win against the Yankees. Could have had that win against the Yankees. That's kind of like the 180 yarder hit 3 feet to the hole.
Yeah,
and that's exactly like that. And then you get absolutely, and then
you're 12.
You're 12.
You're 12 over. Yeah, you're 12 over, and then on 17 you hit a birdie putt, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I love golf. This is the greatest. This is the greatest round I've ever played." Right?
No. It's 185 yards, 3 feet to the hole, and that's the first game. And the other 2 games were the 3 putt that you get after that. But you know something. This is the thing about what I'm just going to say this with fans. I'm not going to say the word morons or emotional nitwits or anything on this one, but I'm just going to say what fans do. And this is in all sports, not just baseball. What they tend to do is their mindsets, whether they're in fantasy or pretending that they could be the GM, the biggest issues that they have with it is their mindset is always for winning right now. They don't have an idea forever having a dynasty or the idea of what the Patriots do or what the Yankees have done for 27. They don't have a mindset. It's always the now because it's their own selfish thought process of wanting to see it instead of everything like that. But they don't have a plan after the point. Right. They don't have a plan. Everything that they talk about is like, go get Aaron Judge, $350 million. Like for the Cubs, for instance. Go get him. It's like, so what do we do about it? Never mind.
Because you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to deal with, you know, years 37, 38, 39, and 40 of his career. Like, oh, well, whatever. At least and because you do have that, though, is like, well, we won. Well, we got one. So I will give up 12, 15, 18 years of crap for one. And don't get me wrong, because I'm besides the Cubs, I'm a Giants fan, a Pistons fan, and a Wings fan. So, like, you know, like, obviously I've suffered, but we've won. So when you got
the Wings, dude. You got the Wings in the 90s. Dude,
well,
you got the Wings.
And the 2000s.
I'm 39, and the Giants have won 4 Super Bowls in my lifetime and got to
and the Wings have got about 72 cups.
So, yeah, exactly. I mean,
So, but the Pistons have won 3 championships in my lifetime. Got to 5. So yeah, they won. Yeah, they got to 5 and won 3. So I've been there a little bit. but you remember, hopefully, if you have the right perspective, and again, I'm almost 40, so I'm starting to get the right perspective. It's taking me some time, but you enjoy the destination, you enjoy the ride, and you enjoy the journey, and you have yourself, you understand in the right perspective. And thank God I have kids now, because I used to like live and die with games. So I'm really happy I have other things I can care about now. But it's just like the best example I can give you of this, and it's off topic, so I don't talk about it. We'll talk about it sometime. Actually, Basketball Bros, I want to come on and we'll talk about it. The best thing that Detroit ever did was not draft Carmelo Anthony, and it's an unpopular opinion. We'll talk about it later. The best thing that they ever did was not draft Carmelo Anthony.
You talked
Thank
about
you. And
really
now
quickly.
the Nuggets got him, drafted him. I mean, helped our franchise, but that's another story for another day.
No, I was going to say this real quickly. You had that perspective now because you used to live and die and everything. I've lived and died in a single moment, but the dad that I had, I always tell this to people, the way we didn't have cable growing up, so we had our games on Saturdays.
Same.
That wasn't the whole thing. And him being 50 when I was born, him born in 28, so it was a little different detail, And
wow,
the way that he taught it was, you watch your games. We had our Bears, we had the Celtics with Larry Bird, we had the Cubs once in a while, but we had those. And then after the game was over, all right, go Mo. Okay, go rake leaves. Okay, whatever. Go shovel snow if it's in the winter. Okay, go do that. See, you never had you had your celebration for 5 minutes, or you're down for 5 minutes, but you never stay down long. You never celebrate long, because, by the way, those out there are going to help you pay bills one day. Yep. And he didn't say it like that, but I get it, as he's been gone for 12 years now. And it was this perspective that I've gotten out of it. So when I hear people wanting to jump off the building for 2003 or whatever, and then they were down for 3 months and all that kind of crap, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, get on with your life. I mean, that's what I was brought up with from the get-go with it. It's like, okay, perspective. Yep. Okay, go mow, go rake leaves, go cut the bushes horribly.
And coaching, and I coach basketball, I don't coach baseball.
I've done that before.
But coaching helps with that too, because that's the only way that you can get by as a coach, is the mentality of last game, next game.
Oh, I've been a coach. I've been a volunteer coach. Yeah.
Yeah, you're moving on. Last game, next game. So, I know the Nebraska legend football coach Tom Osborne used to say, I start celebrating. I celebrate a win as I'm walking off the field, and when I get to the locker room, I'm done, because then you're moving on to the next game. So it's last game, next game, and again, tomorrow. Are we all going to watch the Cubs-Padres game? Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Even after they were up 5-0 tonight and lost 12-5.
Yeah.
Am I still going to turn on the game tomorrow and watch it? 100% I am.
Hey, we're up 10-0. How much will we blow it?
Yeah, exactly.
We give up 12 runs with the bullpen tonight.
I think
real quick though. Sorry to put. I have to say this. You know whose fault tonight is, though, right?
Ross.
No, yours.
Oh, of course it is.
Yours, because you're like,
that's true.
Team, and in our chat, you're like, who is this team? And I go, quiet, don't jinx us. And you're like, oh, it's easy to win. This one's over.
I did that on purpose.
I know you were kidding, but still, it's your fault.
I did it on purpose, though.
The thing about fans, though, is yeah, we won that World Series, but it's what have you done for me lately? Yep. That's a mentality that most fans have, and I can see that. But
that's what makes them morons.
Exactly. I can tell you, you guys know I'm a diehard Broncos fan.
Yeah.
I used to get so upset when they lost, but now I've gotten to the realization, I just laugh when they lose just because we're not playing great football. I have the realization of, you know what? It's a game. They played bad. Let's go move on and do something else. It's taken me pretty much the last 5 years to realize this game isn't that important. Now, granted, with the Avalanche in the Stanley Cup final, I may have a different perspective.
Well, I grew up. My 1984. I'm 6 years old, and I told you, like I said, the most unusual absorption of sports ever for that age. Yeah. But I grew up with the Bears. 84 through 88. 10-6, 15-1, 14-2, 11-4. I mean, literally during at times like 57-11 in a certain time frame, just ungodly.
And still only one Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's my point, though.
Yeah,
that's the closest I got to get to a dynasty. So when you are a kid and you know you're going to win every Sunday, they did not lose 2 in a row in my first 3 years watching. When you see that and you see that that team one time had a thought process of we're going to win every dang week. Yep. We're going to do this. And it's like, so I have that thought process with my teams. I want to see that every time out. And then when I see fans, the way they think is like one time only. After that, who cares? And then we'll see from there. And then we'll get cocky and then we'll give it. And see, they get this way. And that's what I see. I'm always thinking of 20 years down the road because I can't hate the Patriots. I can't hate the Yankees. I can't hate the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals have 32 winning seasons in 40 years. I can't hate them because I want to be them.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Well, they had a great defense, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing with the obviously just because we mentioned it earlier. That was the thing with the Red Wings. They wanted to hold on to that playoff streak for so long. 22 consecutive years in the playoffs. 24,
wasn't it?
They wanted to hold on to it so long that they basically made it, the next decade we're going to be horrible. But if you keep holding on, eventually you're like, okay, well, we're going to have to hit rock bottom and start getting, top 3, top 5 picks.
Well, I love Yzerman. I love what Yzerman's doing there.
No. And that's the key is have a plan. And Yzerman has a plan. So I'm all in on Yzerman. I'm all in the Wings. I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah.
And Charles Barkley says a lot of crazy things. But one of the smartest things he's ever said, and I hopefully he said it more, but I know he said it years ago, and about the NBA, but really it's about all sports, about having a plan. If you're not contending, you should be rebuilding.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
The worst thing that you could be in any professional sport is, I mean, for basketball and basketball and hockey, be the 7 or 8 seed, right? Be the 7 or 8 seed. So you're going to pick at 16. You're not going to get anybody that's going to change your franchise. You're going to make the playoffs, but you're not going to do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got second place in the division in the NFC East. All right, you'll be 9-7, 10-6. The worst thing that you could do is be average, either contend or rebuild. And again, this is why I have faith right now. One, I'm a stupid fan, but 2, because I feel like the Cubs are, hey, we got our championship. We had a decent chance a couple other times. It didn't work out. Now we regrouped. So now we're regrouping. And maybe down the line, one of these kids that you got in a trade that you didn't think anything of it, maybe they become really good. But at least try. At least give it a shot. And that's why I can live with it. Is, hey, if you're not contending, you need to be rebuilding. And obviously the Cubs are not contending. So
yeah. Well, let's get to Cub or Dud, guys.
Yeah, I was just about to get there. Cub or Dub? Will Caleb Killian, will he win his next start? Of course, he had his first start 10 days ago. I believe he went down to Iowa to work on things, but he pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts against St. Louis. Will he win in the next start, whenever that will be? I'm going to have to say Dub, just because of the fact that what offense are we going to have?
Well, here's what I'll say. That nasty slider, the curves, the stuff that he can run. Now we got to remember he throws with a lot of torque, so he's going to wear himself out. But his nastiness, like I said, I want to see him as a closer right now. But let me say this: his stuff. If these guys swing, he could easily have the ability to have Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game. Or he could be the other 3 games and be like Kerry Woods with the 5.2 ERA, 5.25 ERA before that. He could be that too. So you can't tell. So I'm just going to be slack in the middle and don't know, just because we don't know what we don't know what we're going to get yet. He needs to have better pitching decisions.
Yeah,
on what he does, because he likes to show off he likes to play show and tell with his stuff. But I mean, it's nice to watch. but I mean, you also get that one bad inning.
I mean, and the Cubs won. They obviously they just lost their 8th straight tonight, so they lost 8. Before that, they won 3 of 4 against the Brewers and the Cardinals. So it's just like, but then you got another game against the Padres, and then against the Braves, and then Pittsburgh and St. Louis again. But so if you say, hey, he's gonna start against Pittsburgh, maybe I guess I'll go with Jay. Maybe. So I guess it depends on who he starts against. But just to be fun, I'm gonna say he'll lose because he'll
give up 1 run.
Because he'll be pitching really well through 5 1/3 and get taken out and lose the game.
Get him in the bull. Here's the thing: for the rare times we're winning, get him in the bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, I want that. I mean, that is closer stuff. And just be truthful, that one bad inning he had, he was tired. He throws with so much torque. It's ridiculous. He's going to wear himself out. He's not going to go 9. This is not Nolan Ryan.
Well, and you see it a lot, right? Like, and they'll show the stat on almost any game you're watching, right? What's a pitcher's ERA the first time through the order, the second time through the order, the third time, right? So if you have a guy that's like, oh, well, he's unhittable until the 3rd time through the order, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out like, oh, wow, he should be coming in, throwing, 6 stuff in the 7th and 8th and closing the door on people, so.
Well, it makes you wonder. It makes people wonder why, like, for instance, Arvidas Sabonis used to have actually a decent time against Shaq. Mm-hmm. It's because Arvidas Sabonis wasn't using any energy whatsoever. He had no knees. Shaq wanted to run you over. Right. Shaq wanted to run you over, but it's like all he had was he was like Larry Bird late. He had Larry Bird with a big gut, which Bird did too. But I mean, he was that way. But he had these big hands. He had great soft hands, and he could throw and he could pass it. He could shoot from 18 to 20. He can shoot from 18 to 20, get all that stuff. And it's like, and Shaq wearing himself out all the time because he's 375 and he's running you over. You can't run over 280 pounds all the time. Right. And see, these are the things with that. And I'm just using that as far as the Cubs, as far as this dude with them. He's got so much torque on this pitch. And I'm like, I love him. He's good. He's beautiful to watch as a starter. And he's nice because we're way out of this anyway. We're going to win 65. Yeah. So he is nice to watch, but get him as a bullpen, get him as a closer, because that can be impossible especially with the Cubs give themselves a team.
I would agree with that. Well, that wraps up another edition of Cubfidential, except for Steve has one thing to say.
Real quick, I do. I was going to start with this, but then because we went to this format, I want to end with it. I want to apologize to you both. I want to apologize to everyone in Cub Nation. I will take full responsibility for Keegan Thompson. All right. Oh. Hey, Keegan Thompson in 12 games played, 45 1/3 innings, gave up 35 hits, 10 earned, walked 14, struck out 38. Then my idiot butt picked him up for fantasy baseball. In those 2 starts,
your idiot butt's playing fantasy baseball.
In those 2 starts, he pitched 3 2/3 innings. And in those 3 2/3 innings, he gave up 8 hits, 12 runs, 10 earned, walked 4, and had 1 strikeout.
So are you going to continue?
And he's telling you you're an idiot. Your dog's telling you you're
an idiot. So are you going to continue to grab?
Everybody know I'm an idiot.
Are you going to continue to grab Cubs fans?
Trying to pick up Thompson. It was my fault.
So have you learned not to pick up Cubs guys on fantasy baseball?
Have you learned not to play fantasy baseball?
That's true too.
I have not learned to not play fantasy baseball, and Contreras is still my catcher, which went well today because he hit 2 home runs and a double. But I have learned that I will not be starting any Cub pitcher for the rest of the year.
Well, I mean, you could start Kyle Hendricks, but he's going to get pulled in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
He had a beautiful game too.
He's going to throw 60 pitches in a shutout with giving up 4 hits and 7 Ks and get pulled. So against a team that the last time out, he pitched 8 2/3 and threw 116 pitches and only give up 4 hits. And against the same team, you pull him after 5 in 70 pitches?
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna take the team out for pizza.
Pretty much.
The game's over. It's like they got 5 runs, so they get their reward.
All right. You guys are great. Jordan, thank you. Jacob, thank you.
No problem, buddy.
Steve, why don't you tell them where they can find you and follow you?
Yes, easiest way to follow me, obviously, is on Twitter. All Eyes on You, the letter U. All Eyes on You Hoops, and also SBN1720 on Twitter. And then, obviously, NBA Carousel, because the Warriors are still in it. In fact, they're going to win the series on Thursday. So see me on Monday nights there. I made a guest appearance on the Sip Off on Thursday nights. I hope to make more. And then, obviously, every Tuesday night. Well, not every Tuesday night, because sometimes I get tired. But most Tuesday nights on Cubfidential.
All right, Jacob, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
Well, you can now find me on. We are now getting a separate Pundits Pundit Twitter really soon, so just going to let you know about that. But right now, I am Jake the Pundit on Twitter. I am Sunday nights for the Basket Bros. Tuesday nights here. Thursday nights the Pundits Pundit with Jen, and on Monday nights during the season with a better team, thank God. It'll be Megan. It'll be Megan's. It'll be Megan Price's the carousel, NBA carousel.
So for me, you can find me at SportsScoop1 on Twitter. I have my own blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays at sports-scoop.com. I am also on the NBA carousel. I have the Denver Nuggets as well as the Phoenix Suns. It all depends on if Megan wants me to do the Phoenix Suns. I mean, I'm happy to keep doing them. Of course.
I just hope to get a better team like the Orlando Magic.
I mean, you were the Sacramento Kings. You had no hope. I'm just saying. I also have a live stream show that I call Under Review. It's basically Colorado sports with a sprinkling of national stories as well. That is actually going to be on Fridays, and hopefully, if everything goes well with technology, it will be uploaded on Saturdays for you to enjoy on the Sideline Sports Network. So that wraps up another great show of Confidential, the best late-night Cubs coverage here on Sideline Sports Network. We have great shows every single day. You heard the Pundits Pundit, Basket Bros, NBA Carousel. We also have the NFL Carousel during the season, the Gauntlet. We have so many amazing shows every single day. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss them. Have a great rest of your night, and we will see you next week for hopefully a couple of more wins. Hopefully we'll win some so we can actually talk about something happy.
2 wins in 2 weeks.
We will have an 0 for 8. We will have an 0 for 8 week to talk about.
Exactly.
2 wins in 2 weeks.
So see you next week for another edition of Confidential, the best late night Cubs coverage.
Take care.